Hi everybody, welcome to Midweek. Hope you're having a great week. We have a little interview for you today. I'll come back and chat afterwards, but the Center for Health and Healing, we have a number of classes that we do, and this one is being taught by Michelle Huffaker, one of the members of our church, and it's a class on parenting. I want you to take a look at the interview. It's being done by Gilbert, who's the director of the Center for Health and Healing. And they're going to kind of go through some of the questions, a little bit of her background. Then I'll come back and chat with you and invite you specifically to the class again. Take a look at the interview.
Hi there, church family. This is Gilbert from the Center for Health and Healing here at Salem First Baptist. And we are so excited to tell you about an upcoming class that is led by one of our own, Michelle Huffaker. So thank you so much for being here.
So glad to be here,
Yes,
Corey.
and you have been a parent trainer for the last, many years, since like 2009.
Right.
Thank you so much for being here. And why should we sign up for that class?
Well, the class is called Creating a Restful Home. And I'm so excited to get to share some of what I've learned about rest with the families at my church.
Now, families, meaning, so who is this for?
This is for anyone who engages with a child.
Okay.
So it's for a parent, of course. I would love it if we had parents of newborns and parents of elementary aged kids, parents of teenagers, parents of young adults. This is about how do you relate to your child as a parent. But it is also about being a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle.
And now you come at this from a very different angle, which I think is so beautiful and adds a depth to this that we don't normally see. Because parenting is a tough topic. We don't like to listen about someone telling us what to do as a parent. We're partnering with you to help empower you. What led you into becoming a parent trainer?
For starters, the Lord called me at a very young age to live in the Muslim world as a witness for Jesus. And so that was the whole reason I married my husband, and we went together and we served. And in our service, discovered...
When did you go overseas?
First in 96.
Wow, 1996.
And then we came back I came back in 2019.
Yeah.
The thing about that in culture, that environment, is it's so focused on working to earn being good enough to go to heaven. And
so true. Wow.
And grace becomes the most important message we have to share. And God gave us a live-in opportunity for grace. We had a terrible reputation. We had this child with developmental disability in a culture that's considered cursed. That's considered a shameful thing. And we're these heathens that, these followers of Jesus that are willing to take our son everywhere with us.
So you live different.
We lived differently. They saw us love him. They saw us play with him. My husband would take him to the park and teach him how to play ball out there in public in front of everyone. And they saw us at the grocery store when he would scream and cry and have a complete meltdown. I knew he was struggling because the grocery carts had been moved from one area to another, and that it was the end of the universe for him. Nobody else understood that. They're just seeing this screaming child banging his head on the tile floor. And I just sat next to him and held him and breathed with him and let him know how much I cared and that it mattered to me that he was upset, and loved him. And that kind of a reaction to his behavior completely blew minds.
Yeah. So that culture...
Their culture was just, it was so not culturally appropriate to have this child even visible. And here he was, not only up front and visible, but being loved. And no one had seen that before. And we had gained a reputation as these crazy people who love their son, who's nonverbal and in his own world. And
that opened doors.
Oh, huge doors.
Mm-hmm.
Because then families who also had children with disability started coming and finding us. Here we are in a city of 1 million people. We didn't even know there was disability because it was so hidden.
Yeah.
And these parents were coming and crying on our doorstep and begging for our help. And so it was through that we started working with local professionals and creating parent training programs, and that's where this all began.
That's incredible. And so now you're wanting to bring that to us here at Salem First Baptist.
Yes,
on Tuesday nights.
It's so exciting. I've been studying for the last 5 years under a Canadian attachment theorist, Dr. Gordon Neufeld. I'm sure you've heard of him.
Incredible. It's so good.
Brilliant man.
Yes.
My favorite quote from him is, "All growth emanates from a place of rest." And the implications of that are huge. Rest is when our bodies actually grow, when we're sleeping physically, but it's also true spiritually. We grow to our full potential in Jesus when we are resting, when we are depending on God. Not when we are working to earn our salvation, but when we are resting and trusting. And it's the same with our children. They grow into their full potential because they can rest in our love for them.
And so the class is meant for anybody, grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, those working with kids.
Absolutely.
But it's to empower them to walk alongside kids, and then especially almost like the bonus is when there's difficulties, when there's struggle.
Exactly. So we'll talk about emotion and play and development, but we'll also, towards the end of the class, look at troubling behavior and how do you respond in a way that maintains rest.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, so this class is for you here at Salem First Baptist, anyone else you know. Yes, if you're struggling. Yes, if you're actually stuck. But more so for those that see we can't do this alone. We're not meant to do this alone. And we want to partner with you and help you strengthen the skills and tools you have to lead your kids well, to launch your kids well, to love your kids well. And so we think Michelle Huffaker has more than you can imagine of not only gifting, but also just wisdom to help us do this well. So sign up on the Church Center app. I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday nights.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the interview. I want you to know, I went to the first class. Annie suggested that I probably need some more parenting help, and so Annie and I went. And I'll be honest with you, two things. Number one, I had a blast. The class was incredible. Secondly, I cannot speak highly enough of both the training and the person of Michelle Huffaker. She's the kind of individual, if you heard her story, your mouth would be gaping open at how does a person survive what she's done, how does she have joy in her life, and how did God teach her through all that process. So I do want to encourage you, say, well, I already missed the first week. It's okay. You come on in. Annie and I are going to be there. And I might even wrap a couple of my other friends to come with me because it is a special class. Who's it for? You say parenting. Well, my kids are doing great. Well, my kids are gone, other than Annie. I got grandkids. But the teaching she's giving us on some insight into the brain and behavior and just shaping our home to be this place of refuge and peace, I cannot speak highly enough. So bring your friends. In particular, if you have a friend who has a child that is just kind of high demand and exhausting the parents and just kind of driving them up the wall, or if you're a teacher, you know one, and you have that kind of child that needs some real understanding of how to create a space for that child to succeed, I literally cannot think of another person that I've ever met in my life that I would trust more than what Michelle's teaching. So encourage you to take that into consideration. Next Tuesday night, 6 o'clock right here at the church is session number 2. And please don't feel like you missed anything that you can't make up. We'll have you come and she'll get you up to speed. So next Tuesday, see you there. This weekend, coming back together again, we're going through the Gospel of John. I think I might be saying that for the next, at least 3, 4, 5 months. But I can't wait because it is such a fun series. I've loved this time. So I'll see you this weekend. Hey, one last thing. Next week, a week from today, I'm doing this on Wednesday, so a week from today, the 14th, there's 2 things that you need to take notice. Number one, our celebration of life and the 40 days for life starts that day. Our church has the following Monday, but if you want to be participating in that, you can get the link from our Church Center app. You can get online and you can participate. We want to encourage you to do that. Number 2, guys, this is for us. It is the national holiday most important for all men. Don't miss what? It's that day called Valentine's. Yes. It's a week from today. I'm just giving you a heads up. And I'm actually assigning myself, Mark, don't miss it. Because I've had some moments where I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to get something on the way home. And my wife always knows when I do something on the way home. And somehow it just flops. So I'm telling myself, Valentine's Day, it's a week from today. Now, if you listen to this on Friday or Saturday, please understand it's the 14th. Let's win this one, guys. We are going to be the best at giving the most outstanding Valentine's Day. And by the way, if you have a really, really good idea, send it to me, and I will broadcast it online. At least Sean will. God bless you. I hope you have a great week. We love you.